It's your girl, PBB, Fat Black Barbie, Lavender, whatever you want me to be. But keep it cute, keep it sweet, because if you don't, you will be blocked and reported. Anyway, like, comment, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And now I'm finna go ahead and I'm finna give y'all a little talk. We finna have a little talk. Come on in, come on in. Can we talk? I decided to do tenor instead of my normal soprano because I feel like they would flag me and say that I was playing the music that I wasn't. It's just that I'm able to sound so good. Can we talk? Okay, I just had to get that out the way because I really wanted to do that. But anyway, today we're gonna talk about brushes. Let me show you something real quick. Let me take this beauty blender out. I have broken brushes and I have regular brushes. You see that? Most of these are dirty. I have beauty blenders, and the little sponge things. So, and this is another beauty blender I took out of there, and broken brush. Okay, so I'm gonna go over my brushes with y'all because, as you know, I have a lot of brushes. Y'all can see it in the background. Typically, when I have it in the background of my video, my bag with my brushes, but my brushes are just so dirty. I'm like, I'm not gonna let them see that. Um, because majority of them right now are dirty, and I'm gonna be washing them tonight. If you want to see how I did this look, please go back to my previous video so you can look at the tutorial. If you want to see where I got the lashes, please look back at my previous video because it's in the description box. Okay, if you see me looking over here, it's because I can see me in there and I can see what you see. So I can see if you can see. I see what the camera sees, basically. I just have to make sure that you can see me. Now, mind you, I'm about to be taking out these brushes and going over the brushes that I have with y'all. This is going to be helpful because my brush sets are all typically under $15, which means you're getting anywhere from 10 to 20 brushes together for under $15 because I'm not spending $15 on no brushes. And if they are higher than $15 right now, when you go in there and look, they were not that high when I bought them. Okay, inflation. Where is my alcohol wipe? Because I just did this video for this makeup, so I need to go in and wipe my hand real quick because I still got the foundation on my hand. From the other side. Move that we shit over to the side. All of my niggas is do or die. Chop up your rhythms. I ain't gonna say that word. Anyway, so we're just gonna start with the dirty brushes, and I'm gonna go through my eyeshadow brushes first because I feel like those have the most description that I can give you. And like eyeshadow to me and to many people is the hardest part of a makeup look. Like I know people that like to do makeup and stuff like that. They don't know how to do cut creases and stuff. So I'm going to show y'all the specific brushes I use for specific things. Okay? So when you are doing your makeup, let's say you're doing a cut crease or you're just doing something that requires multiple colors. So you would start with your transition area typically. So I'm going to show you the brushes that I would prefer to use in my transition area. So I have these that are double-sided, and these are really good for eyeshadow because you can use this in your transition area, and then you can use this to add brighter colors and pigment. Like if you really need to pack a color on, it's like a flat packed brush, and you could kind of spray it with a little bit of setting spray, rub it on the eyeshadow, and then just kind of go in and do what you got to do. This side you can use just to put in a transition color. And it's more precise that way, so you're not getting it all over your lid, especially if you have like a smaller transition area, a smaller lid. So that's what these are. I bought these in bulk on Amazon. I'm going to link it down below. not link it, but it won't let me put links for some reason, but I'm going to put it down below. And also, these brushes I would also use in the transition area because these are around that size. You can also use these brushes. Let's say if you're doing like a smoky eye, or you have a color here, but you want to smoke this out and kind of like wing it out. You can also use, I personally would use one of these two brushes because they're wider, but they kind of have a shape that goes kind of inward towards the top. So then you can really smoke stuff out. So that's these type of brushes. This type of brush I would use if I'm being really precise, and I'm not really precise, but I want to go in on my crease color. But let's say I used, oh, hold on, because I didn't drop one. Oh, okay. Ugh, I gotta move this mirror out my way because it's poking my ass. I have a lot of ass in the back, y'all. I got a lot of ass. So if I'm over here switching around in discomfort, that's why, because it's something on my ass. All right. So let's say, and this is a big brush, right? So let's say I have a look where I have to start with a base color that's orange. I went into my transition area and I used this kind of big brush to put an orange. Or I might have gone in with one of these that I spoke about earlier and I put in an orange. So I have this orange as my starter color. And then I would go in with this and I would go in with a brown next. So it's going to be a little bit lower than that orange. It's hitting the crease, but it's not just exclusive to the crease. It's kind of a little bit in that transition area. So it's kind of like layering. So it's kind of like when you have a rainbow, you have orange, brown, whatever, orange, brown, gold. You might have a little black over here. So that's kind of with layering. I would use that to layer. Then we have, I'm going to take out all my pointed brushes. These two. Now these two have like a cone pointed shape at the top. These are what I would use as crease brushes. This is where you use your black and you put it in that crease. This is where you use your really dark brown or your really dark color and you put it into your crease, directly to your crease. So we start with that orange, then we have a brown, just a regular brown, and then we go on with a dark brown or a black or a blue or whatever you want to do in the crease. But let's just set the tone and say that it was brown. Okay. And like I said, with the flat brushes like this, you would then take the flat brush and you would go in and you would put the pigment. So I would particularly use this if I'm doing a shimmer or a really bright color, or just anything that I would need to pack onto my lid, not my crease, not my transition, not my in between the crease and transition together, just the lid. So if I'm putting gold right here, or if I want to put a bright color, or let's say I'm doing a red cut crease and I cut that crease and I get some red, or I get like whatever you're going to put in that area is what you would use a flat brush for. And that's this side of this brush. And that's why I like those brushes, because it makes it easier to go about using it. And then of course we do have some concealer brushes here. Some of these could be used as flat brushes as well, but I use them to put concealer on my lids. Because sometimes with those kinds of flat brush, it kind of goes into the saying of a brush is a brush. A brush is a brush is a brush, basically meaning you can use it for multiple things. A lot of times with flat brushes, you can use them to apply concealer to your lid and whatever. So then we have another super pointed brush. I would use this to go into liner mode. And when I say liner mode, I mean, you've done your look and you may have a liquid liner that you want to go ahead and apply and you just line that. Or if you have a particular color that you want to put somewhere, like when some people do their cut crease, they'll have another color that they'll put a line right above the cut crease with a whole that's a whole different color from any of the other eyeshadows, just to add a little pop. So you could use this to put that line there with an eyeshadow. Now that we've done that, you looked at those things. Let's take a look at um, some more liner brushes. So this is another liner brush. This is like angled. You see it's really packed together. It's sharp. So that's another liner brush that you could use to line. You can also use it to fill in your eyebrows and things of that nature. Speaking of eyebrows, let's go into eyebrows. So this will be a little more obvious. So these are spoolie brushes. So down here, you would use the brush part to go in and like fill in your brow with whatever you're filling it in with, whether it's a brow pomade or you just like put the pencil. And so you're just going in and blending it so that you have just a smooth brow. If you look at my brow tutorial, you'll see how this is used. Then you go here so you can kind of blend out and like brush up your brow hair, and then you can kind of blend out the ends so that you can have a faded brow if you want. So that is pretty much how you use those. Then some of them I just have just a spoolie. These I would say, let's say you're using mascara. That's another thing, and your mascara was like kind of caked up on your eyelashes. You can go in with this. You can dampen it up a little bit with water, not with setting spray, just with water. Just dampen it up, maybe like put it on a wet towel or something, and just go through your eyelashes. And that'll take some of the mascara off. Okay. So now we're going to go into our face brushes. Now, I kind of, well, pretty much almost everything I like to buy in bulk. So typically, you will see me with stuff in bulk. Now, this brush, as you can see, it's kind of like a skinnier, but it's kind of big, but it's skinnier. I use this to contour. I contour with this. You can also use it to, just put your powder on, but I like to contour because it gives that precise, you know. Also, let me find the other brush that I have that's similar. This one. Same thing, it's just a little thicker. This is just another brush I use to contour. I got two of them. Okay. This is a powder brush. It's like an angled powder brush. So if you want to get right up under your eye or anything like that, you can do that. This is a foundation brush. I got these in bulk. They're really cheap. I don't like how they apply foundation. They shed a lot. So I just use them to put powders on. So yeah. This is another angled foundation brush. I use this to put on my foundation, and it's easier to get like right up under the eye since it's at an angle. It's slanted like that. This one I use as a powder brush. I don't really blend anything with it. I just put my setting powder on with it. Same thing. You can put your setting powder on or take it off. And you can also put on blush with it as well. This is just a foundation brush. I typically use this to put on my concealer or foundation. I don't use it to blend it. I don't like to use those brushes to blend anything. This is another brush. I just use it as a powder brush for my regular skin color powder. These brushes are a little more precise. I would use these to contour my forehead and my face if I want a really precise, sharp contour. These are just foundation brushes that I use to put on powder. I used one on my mom when I did her makeup this weekend. Beauty blender, you just use it to blend out your foundation concealer, and it's pointy at the top so that you can really kind of get in there. These are broken. These two are broken, but I still use them. I like to use them to put on setting powder because it kind of packs the powder on them, and I can just kind of really go over my face like I want to when I am baking, because I can get right up under my eye. I can get on like just whatever area because the powder packs on. And then also, I do like to use them to blend out concealer if I want to just kind of get in there a little more without having any trouble. Another foundation brush, I literally just used this to blend my foundation in the video before this one where I did this makeup. Uh, I love to use this to put on my setting powder. When I'm just putting it all over my face because I just want to set my makeup, this is what the fuck it is. Yes, and it's huge and I love it. I like to use this to put on my, oh Lord, blush. My blush. You see how it's round so I can really, and it's kind of big so I can really get the area that I want to get. Just really get in there like I want to. This one I also put on blush with if that brush is not available. But typically I just use this to wipe off the setting powder off of my face. And this is just another one of those cone brushes. This is what it looks like when it's not broken. These come from Best Taupe. B as in boy, E S is in Sam, T is in Tom, O, P is in Paul, E is in Edward. Best Taupe. This is just another one of those many foundation brushes that I have that I don't use for foundation. Another angled powder brush. This one you can also use to contour. I also like to use it to put on face powder or whatever. Um, you can also use it to put on blush if you want it more angled. We're almost to the end. So these are just a regular powder brush and a slanted powder brush, but they are broken. Last but not least, I have my highlighter brush. It's a fan brush, really good for putting on highlighter on your cheek, your forehead, right here, right here. I don't put it on my nose. I would use one of those other brushes for that. Um, Small beauty blenders I use if I want to get right up under my eye or if I just want to blend out a small area. I don't typically use them like that, honestly. I might give some of them away actually. And then I have a lot more brushes actually, but uh-oh. Um, these brushes, I would use these for my lips or just to line if I want to. This one I would use to line or I would use it on my lips. This one I would just use for my lips. Or if I'm doing some type of costume makeup or something where I need to, just draw on my face. This one right here is another one. This particular one I would use to put pigment in there. I would get in there with some pigment with that. Um, Other than that, I think that's pretty much it because like I said, most of my brushes I buy them in bulk, so a lot of this stuff is just the same thing over and over. So yeah, so what I would recommend for anyone who's doing their own makeup, you're not doing anyone else's makeup. If if you're an MUA, you need to have at least all this because you need to be able to do at least 3 or 4 faces a day. And I can do 3 or 4, I can do probably 4 or 5 makeup looks with these brushes without ever washing them because I have enough clean ones and I have enough to where I'm going to have some clean ones. So I can do about 4 or 5 makeup looks with these. If you are not an MUA and you just like to do your makeup, I would recommend if you don't want to have to wash your brushes every time right after. Um, and so, this is from the Dollar Tree. The ones that look like this are from the Dollar Tree. So you can go there and you can get your contour brush. You can also use them to put on powders, or you can use them as blush. So these will take you a long way if you go to the Dollar Tree. Even if you're MUA, you can still go to the Dollar Tree and get this. These work pretty well. Again, I would use these for contours and mostly contour and blush, honestly. So if you're not an MUA, then contour and blush, girl, blush. You want to have a fan brush so that you can do your highlight. I don't always use that. I just sometimes just use a regular eyeshadow brush. So I would say to invest in these. You can get them in bulk, or if you can find anywhere where you can get them not in bulk, where you can get like 3 or 4 of them. Perfect for when you do your eyeshadow because you can do a transition color and then you can turn it around and do your lid color. I mean, where can you can't go wrong with that. And you can also add to your brow bone, you know. So I would use a flat brush for the brow bone as well. I forgot to add that. Another one I would say to invest in is the other brushes that are like this. Find something that's like this that has like a slight slant to it. You can use it for concealer under your brows. You can use it to conceal so that you can also use the flat brush for that purpose as well to conceal if you're doing a cut crease. And then of course you have this side. Um, I don't know. If you can get it to be a little more packed, you could use it to kind of put a pigment under your eye. So, like if you want to do like smoke out your lid, basically. So I would say if you get 2 of these, you got flat brushes. You can use one of those flat sides for concealer to do under your brow and on your lid. And then you can use this side for actual eyeshadow. And you can use the other one that would have this to put the pigment on your lid. You need a pointy brush like this so you can go into your crease. And this is like bare minimum, right? I would say to invest in something like this. It's not a flat brush, but it's not as spread out as this one. As you can see, my hand a little light. You see, this one is not as like rounded out is that one. It's a little more controlled in how it would apply product. It's a little stiffer. So I would say to invest in this so that you can do an in-between color with your, did I almost live on my eyebrow? Damn near shit. Goodness. So that you could do like an in-between color. Of course, you want to have this for your brow. And then a spoolie brush if you want to put it on your brow or your lash. But this is really just the brow. And then the other one I would say if you want to do it for your lash. So we got this so far. You want to have a big brush that you can use for your setting powder. I recommend because when you're setting your face, you're setting just all over it. So you're gonna boom, 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 boom. You can pack the product in there, just boom, 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 boom. It'll be so much easier and so much quicker because you're covering more area. Thank me later. Then you want to have a powder brush. A powder brush, you can do the angled one or you can do the regular powder brush. It is up to you. Well, these are both angled. Hold on. Where's my regular powder brush at? I don't even know. Goodness. Because this is also angled. I don't know where my regular powder brush is, y'all. Or do I? Here it is. So angled or regular, get a powder brush because these particular ones, they're very dense and they can pack on the powder so that you could really get on your face good with it. So we got that. We got the contour. We got the blush. We got the setting powder. We got the highlight. I feel like that's it. I can't really think of anything else that you would need brush wise. But if you just want to be precise, and you want to get something that's going to further assist you, I would say it would be pretty smart to invest in one of these brushes. Y'all can see that? Okay, good. Like I said, I showed you the one that I have that's not broken. I'm over here rummaging right now trying to find it, but I can't find it. So, oh well. But But yeah, invest in one of these because you can really get in there and blend. And then if you need to add your, if you need to set your makeup or you're baking your makeup rather, you can get right up under your eye with that. And of course, get you a beauty blender, girl. This is all bent up because I had it in a tight space. Not my food. Anyway, I was about to say something crazy. But anyway, yeah, so that's about it. So that's what I would say to invest. If you do want a contour brush that is smaller so that you can really get in there and be snatched, get one of these about this size. Because look at this compared to the contour brush I typically use. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, and it's even smaller than the other contour brush. So if you want to be more precise with your contour, you can get the smaller one. But this is how my makeup looks, and I use the big contour brush. But I got a fat face, so I like to really be able to cover up some stuff with the contour, make it seem like it don't exist. But anyway, that's pretty much the video. Let me know. I will make a video of me apply. Well, you can really look at all of my videos that I've done and you can see me use these brushes. You could see these brushes in action, lights, camera, action on this face in those videos. So go ahead, go to my profile, scroll through my videos, start from the first one and just binge watch. And you can see how I use each brush to create each look. Yeah, you do that. Anyway, in the meantime, I thank you so much for joining me today on this video. I love you guys. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you share with your friends because they might want to know what I'm doing over here. They might want to know a little something about some makeup. They might want to see what they see, how they see it when they see it, girl. And look at this bead. The eyeshadow was simple. I just wanted to do a dark brown smoky eye for fall. I really am feeling the fall vibe. So I really wanted to do something a little simple and easy. It's just a regular brown and a dark brown, literally, and just a little gold on here and the tear duct. And then I put on some eyeliner and a big fluffy lash. I just got these lashes again. If you want to see where I got them from, please look at my previous video where I was doing this makeup look, and you are going to see everything in the description box below. Anyway, again, thank you for watching this video. Have a good day or a good night. And last but not least,